So I just wanted to ramble, as per usual, about one of the more interesting subjects of AEW roster right now, even though he's currently out injured, and that is Adam Copeland, formerly known as Edge in WWE. The thoughts are just, you think about wrestlers and stuff, but also obviously what's happened with John Cena this week. So, to be honest, I didn't think Edge was that. I'm going to call him Edge. I'm probably going to alternate because I can't really, forget that name. But I'm not calling him Cope. It's dumb. But I found out the weekend when I was at Cardiff, a lot of people surprisingly aren't a fan of Adam Copeland in AEW, and I'm kind of surprised about that. And when they said the reason, it was kind of him bringing a lot more sports entertainment to AEW, and I kind of get that. The guy's kind of being instilled with that. For him to come into a pure wrestling-based company like AEW is, it's a bit of a step. And my personal opinion, I've enjoyed most things Adam Copeland's done since he's come into AEW. The only thing I actively thought was, a bit lackluster was, surprisingly, something people disagree with me on is the TNT run. I actually didn't love the TNT run. I think it was underbaked. Obviously, the injury didn't help. But then also the Revolution match against Jon Moxley this year, which, that's just because the match wasn't great. I'm not expecting Adam Copeland to put on insane matches nowadays. The guy's getting older and older, and he's clearly on a retirement run with Christian. And I don't think, personally, in the grand scheme of things, I think it's done now because, on level terms, the Christian feud he had when he come in was excellent. I thought that was really fun. I feel like the end of that a bit flat, to be honest. I feel like it just kind of whimpered out, which is a bit of a shame. I thought the TNT stuff where Christian had the contract and won Adam Copeland won the belt, and then Christian cashed in Luchasaurus's contract to win. That was great. The whole thing was Sting and Darby. That was excellent. I feel like, and the rated FTR stuff, I enjoyed that. Obviously, the turn with FTR, and that's obviously going to have a payback when he comes back. We don't know what's going to happen with Beth Phoenix. That's kind of interesting to be honest, because she was in the last thing involved, last incident. And I understand, like, in a lot of people's minds with Adam Copeland, it's where the best wrestle, that promo. And yeah, don't get me wrong, it's desperate, it's dumb, but like, it's so long gone at that point, you know what I mean? Like, who cares anymore? Personally, I don't really care. So it's like, don't get me wrong, I thought the promo back then was a bit like, oh, whatever, let's get this over with, but it wasn't like the most worst thing I've ever seen in the world. I mean, come on, I've seen worse promos on AEW TV, to be honest. It was just the most blatant, in my opinion. I think as a character, he's kind of just been I've been thinking we should have had Copeland as a heel. I feel like that's a big thing because that's obviously his best work of his career is as a heel, obviously in the other company with John Cena specifically. But also, as a face, I actually like him because the guy's been through so much in the career. From outside perspective, you're never going to boo the guy. It's a miracle he's still wrestling. Same with people like Bryan, other wrestlers like that, even Kenny Omega at this point. And I just feel like the way they teased Copeland when he entered, if you forget how Adam Copeland debuted, it was at Wrestle Dream 2023, and he returned to stop Christian hitting a concerto on Sting. And then obviously their feud kicked on where he didn't want to fight Christian. But during that episode, he teased something with Kenny. He teased stuff with like the Bucks. He teased a bunch of stuff just throughout the match. Obviously, as debutants go, and I'm not saying that's what I want. I just feel like it feels like he hasn't really left the Christian bubble, which is fine. I think the only other people I can remember Copeland interacting with is Sting, Darby, obviously. Mark Briscoe when he was teaming for Briscoe for a bit. That was fun. Malachi Black when that TNT feud was going on. And then the Hurt Syndicate when he enlisted their help for a small period. That's genuinely all I can remember. And Moxley with their feud. And Jay White. Which the Jay White stuff was dumb. I'll get onto that in a minute. But the point is, I feel like he's just been encapsulated in that bubble. I would have loved to seen Copeland. And I still wish we can. I don't know if we will. I feel like you could get so many feuds out of Copeland. I feel like I don't know, like, someone like, I'm not saying Hangman specifically, but, you know, people like a Swerve. Swerve and Copeland would be interesting. And I'm not talking about match. This is the problem with Adam Copeland in a way, where the guy is one of the few wrestlers in AEW, which is an in-ring based company, where you go, it's, you know, you don't really, it's not an in-ring, you know, talent that you look forward to. And that's not because he's bad. I think with all the injuries and stuff and the age, it's bound to not look as fluid as someone like a Will Ospreay or a Kyle Fletcher. Obviously, it's just the guy. I think the guy's a hell of a promo. One of my favorite promos is the original. Well, not original. His return promo with Christian, where he tries to convert Christian back to the good side, and you know, the "go fuck yourself," that iconic moment. I feel like the whole Christian feud's excellent. I really do. I just think even I don't think it's the lines, or it may be the lines, or just the delivery of him. He doesn't help himself in some situations. Look at All In, go find yourself. Like, come on, like, that's a bit, like, force feed with the hand. It's a bit weird. I feel like the big problem I had with Copeland this year was the Jay White stuff, because I don't get why Jay White was behind Copeland in the pecking order, just because of Copeland cut a sick promo on Moxley, which was true. And that's kind of it. Like, I just feel like I don't want Copeland in the world picture. I never do. Like, I feel like that was the mistake with Revolution, personally. I stand by they should have given Christian the win there for something interesting in the most heelish way. That would have been hilarious. But TNT picture works perfectly for Adam Copeland. Could you imagine, like, Adam Copeland comes back. Obviously, he's going to go into the FTR stuff, and they're probably going to win the belt off FTR, and then that's probably going to they're going to ride out into the sunset, which is fine, you know. But I don't know. I feel like the thing is, Edge and Christian as a tag team are one of the best ever. Let's not deny that in terms of impact, especially with TLC, and just, you know, all overall iconography. You know, just being icons of the industry. They are. You can't deny that. However, Edge as a single star is still a huge deal on his own right. Not that Christian isn't. And my personal opinion, Christian is the better wrestler. It's just Copeland's obviously the bigger star. So I just don't get why we're just kind of just going, yeah, let's just get the ENC stuff out the way, and then, you know, we're going to go round them out into the sunset. When, yeah, let's see, Christian's on the best run of his career, bar none. And Copeland's kind of just been there waiting. I feel like if you think about Copeland's AEW run, you just think of him going, looking at the watch going, come on, Christian, I need to go here. Like, I don't know if that's true or just to me or whatever. I don't know. That's how I feel. And I just feel like there's so many guys you could throw Adam Copeland with, and that kind of, I just feel like it's been lackluster in a way, and not in a bad way, because I think the guy is good. I think the guy's entertaining. I think the guy can cut a hell of a promo, like I said. I think the guy's got the look to it. I think he found his look relatively easy. And when he's doing the hardcore stuff, look at the stuff like Spike going into Moxley's back. It's one of all-time AEW moments, deny him. I understand people don't like how he very rarely takes a loss. The guy's a legend. I kind of expect that. It's still, you know, not great, but I get it. It's just, I just feel like there's other ways to go with the guy, and I don't want him to just be relegated to the tag scene and just basically, come on, I want to retire now, let's just hurry this stuff up. I'm trying to think of people I'd like, you know, Copeland to, you know, feud with, really. I mean, Juice Robinson would be an excellent one, anyone from the Bang Bang Gang, obviously. FTR, the FTR feud's been great too, let's not deny that. It has been fun for the pair of them. Kyle Fletcher would be great. I'd love Copeland to have some sort of interaction with the Don Callis family. I think that'd be good. Give me Adam Copeland versus Mark Davis, and I mean that. That could be fun. Adam Copeland versus a Brody King. You know, you kind of had that tiny bit with the Aleister Black feud. Just stuff like this. These are people that, you know, he could help elevate. You know, not elevate in a way, but, you know, people at work. You know, look at the Kyle O'Reilly match with Adam Copeland from a while ago. The match isn't like an insane match or anything, but it's a good moment for Kyle O'Reilly. It's a good moment for Adam Copeland, and it's just overall a good experience. And it just feels like that's the level. That's what I want to see from Adam Copeland. And just don't push him as the main guy. Give him a belt. Give him a TNT belt again. I'm not against that. It's just, it kind of goes against the company's values in a way, where I think if you've got a wrestler that's never going to be the tip of the top of the in-ring ability all-rounder. You know, I'm not saying Adam Copeland isn't that, but his age is there. You can't deny that. And he's an all-time. He's a legend of the business. But I never want to see Adam Copeland in the main event picture. No way. Like, what are we doing? But there's other avenues to utilize the guy in an effective way, and I just think that's fine. Like, I'm still surprised people hate him to the extent that I've heard. It's like, I understand the guy's old and he's aged, but if this is most of the people, I feel like it is purely one because of we're the best wrestle promo, but then also, frankly, because he's from WWE and such an icon of that company, it's kind of weird. But then obviously Moxley's a bit different. I was going to compare him to Moxley, but that's a different situation. I just feel like there's harsh criticism on Adam Copeland sometimes, and as a fan of the guy, I am a fan. I just feel he's not one of my favorites by a mile. I think Christian Cage is unanimously the better character and better entertainer and better wrestler. Frankly, it's just I feel like booking hasn't benefited Adam Copeland. He come in and entered AEW in a rough patch, and let's be real, that Christian feud was the best thing they had going on TV for a good couple months. It really was, and the payoff to it was again a bit lackluster. But I feel like when he won the belt, it was kind of just a hit. Here you go, damn. You know what I mean? It was kind of weird because at that point they took Christian out that picture to put him in the main event against Swerve, if I remember correctly. So that was kind of weird. I feel like there's still some mileage to get out of the guy, and I mean that from just having the guy there rather than I want to see the Copeland match. I feel like the way people describe him, it's like Jericho, and it's nothing like Jericho to me. Modern day Jericho was frankly a point taking the piss, and as much as I find Jericho entertaining, I made a video on that. I really don't think... I think Copeland has still some legitimacy to him. I feel like the promo, the character, everything about him works. It's just he needs to, one, tone down the... Go find yourself, like that forced find. Like, we could have a bit more... When he's fired up, the promos are excellent. That Moxley promo is phenomenal. I feel like he needs to get more fired up and stuff. Two, I feel like he needs to be a bit more brutal. I don't know why Adam Copeland is like... The guy who's like, oh, guys, come on. Like, when Christian wanted to call FTR's, say to Dax his dad's dead. I don't know why Copeland was going, guys, come on. Like, no, that's where Edge, frankly, should be going, no, go on, say it. Like, forcing and laughing at it. That's what he should be saying. Personally, I don't get it. I think there could be a different avenue, and I think he should be a bit more nasty. Maybe not full heel. If you want to give the guys a face 100%, but we could have him a bit more of a... Why is he the straight man all the time? You know what I mean? Like, just have him being a bit more... I can't believe this is not a pun intended. Give him a bit more edge. Give him a bit more grit. That's what I feel like is lacking. And they're trying to portray like he's got that with the Moxley and Spike. But I just don't see that in the presentation of the guy. But overall, I feel like there's still something there. I don't hate the guy. I feel like that might be sacrilegious to some of you AEW fans, but I'm a fan of the guy. He's not like the worst thing on AEW TV. I just feel like they just need to kind of refine the character and just not let him be it feels like he's trying to be a spokesperson for the company, which is admittedly a smart move because of the how big the star that Adam Copeland and Edge is. It's just I want him to be a bit of a character on TV. Like, look at Christian, you know what I mean? Like, Christian's just Christian Cage, and he's not really trying to be, a shining light for AEW. He knows his avenue. He knows what he's refined himself to the core. I don't think Adam Copeland has done that, and I think he can. I think they have to, and I think they will. I just, depending on how much time's left, you know what I mean? Because I don't think there is much time left with Adam Copeland, and hopefully that doesn't stand for Christian Cage too, but it probably will. I wish we get some from singles more out of the guy, because, again, I wasn't a fan of that TNT run. It felt a bit short on the injury, obviously. But, yeah, honestly, I just feel like rambling about the guy. What's your opinion on Adam Copeland and AEW? Are you a fan? Am I just the only guy who likes him? I don't know. Like, what's your genuine opinion of him? And what's your opinion on Edge compared to the character? Like, what's your opinion of the comparisons? Because I do, honestly... I like both characters. I do. I just feel like one is, obviously, with how much more time it had, a lot more refined.